Hey there guys, welcome back to one of my tutorials, and today I'm going to cover the if, or, and the and functions in Excel. Now these are all logical functions, and what they do is basically they look at a certain piece of criteria, or criterias, if you're using and or, there's generally more than one, and they will return specific values determined whether the criteria is true or false. Hence the if. If it's this, it's going to be this, otherwise this, and so on. So if we get into it, so if you open up equals if, you see logical test is the only required parameter. Now by required, I mean if you look at the inside of the function, if the parameter has squared brackets, it means it's optional. So I could just put if 1 equals 1 and close this off. No, okay, maybe not. Okay, apparently you do have to put a value. That's a bit weird. That's fine. So let's just say yes, otherwise no. So we're saying if 1 is 1, we return yes, otherwise we return no. So obviously this is true, so it's going to return yes. If we have if 1 equals 2, well, that's not the case, so it's going to skip this true parameter and go to the false parameter, which we specified to be the string no. So that's how if works. And now the interesting thing about if is you can nest multiple if statements into the same one. So I could have if 1 equals 2, return yes, otherwise if 1 equals 1, return yes, and so on. You can nest it infinitely. Well, not infinitely, but you can nest it a lot of times. I don't know the limit, but it's a lot of times. So yeah, that's the if statement. Okay, let's go on to the and statement. Let's get rid of that. So and specifies multiple conditions, and it will return true if all of them are met. So if I put equals and, it's going to give me logical 1, and then it's going to keep wanting more logical statements. Now, let's say, you can even use string, so let's say hello equals hello. Well, first of all, this returns true, right? So now if I put another criterion, let's say 1 equals 1, that's going to still return true because they're both true. Now let's throw something off. Let's say 5 is less than 4. No, it's not liking it. So even though condition 1, or logical 1, and logical 2 are both true, logical 3 is false. And because it's taking logical 1, 2, and 3 in the and statement, because one of these logics is false, the overall product of and is false. Because you need every criteria to be met for and to return true. And now if I finally go on to or, this is the difference now between or and is basically or requires at least one logical to be true. So if I have hey equal to hello, that's going to return false because that's not right. But now if I have, let's say 1 equals 1 again, that returns true because it looks at logic 1 and says it's false, looks at logic 2 and says, okay, this is true. And because at least one of them is true, the or will return true. So I could have 100 parameters with 99 of them being false, and if there's 1 equals 1 as a parameter, this is always going to return true. So that's quite powerful. So now let's get on to some of these actual functions then. So down here, if statement. So we're going to say if 5 is greater than 4, return yes, 5 is greater than 4. Else return no, 5 is not greater than 4. So here we do equals if, we open the brackets, and then we say literally just put 5 greater than 4, and then we want to return yes, 5 is greater than 4. Otherwise, when value is false, then return no, 5 is less than 4. I'm guessing that's what it says. I can't read it because it's in the way. That's a little bit annoying. So I'm actually going to move these over a little bit so I can read them. Bear with. There we go. That might give me a fighting chance. That's just because the syntax gets annoying. It's a little bit annoying. Okay, so that's the first bit done. So the second one, what do we want to do here? If 7 is greater than 9, return yes. Else return no, 7 is less than 9. So I'm going to get equals if, and then 7 greater than 9. We can see that's going to be false, right? So now we're going to return yes if that's true. Otherwise, no, 7 is less than 9. And we'd expect 7 is less than 9 to be the output, which it is, because that's the logical. 7 is indeed less than or equal to 9, which is the opposite of this, so you get the false value. Okay, so this is an if-or combination. So we're combining the if and the or. So we're saying now, if 3 is less than or equal to 2, or if high is equal to high, then return at least one statement is true, otherwise return neither statement is true. Because remember, if the OR returns false, then every condition is false. Because you only need one condition to be true to return true in the OR statement. So we're going to start with the if, and now we're going to do the OR for the first logical test. This is nesting already. So we're saying 3 is less than or equal to 2 is the first logic. So now we just put a comma to get to the second logic. So that's the first criteria for the OR. Or if high is equal to high. So we can see that high does equal to high. So the second logical is true, so this is going to return true. So we close this. So now we get our value if true is going to be at least one statement is true. Otherwise, neither statement is true. So yeah, we get at least one statement is true because high equal to high. So now the if and combination, again, we're going to use equals if and then and instead. And now we're saying 5 if 5 is greater than or equal to 4, and if hey is equal to hello, then we want to return both statements are true. And remember, I'm using double quotes to define strings, and you don't need quotes or double quotes if you're using numbers. Numbers you don't need quotes, and well, characters you do, or alphabetical characters. Okay, else return at least one statement is false. So this returns at least one statement is false, because remember, for the AND condition, we need every single piece of logic to be true. So 5 is indeed greater or equal to 4, so that's true. But hey is not equal to hello, so that's false. So at least one of these statements or logics is false, and therefore AND returns false. So this second parameter in the if statement gets returned. So now we're going to do a nested if statement. So this is using if in the value if false parameter. So I'll show you guys this. So equals if, and then our test is going to be at first, if 21,500 is greater than 25,000, then return more than 25k. So we can clearly see that that's not right, so we're going to go to our false parameter. But now we have to put if again, and that's not a problem, we can do that. We can say 21,500, if that's greater or equal to 20,000, then I want to return more than or equal to 20k. Otherwise, return less than 20k. Now I close that closes this if here, so this is closed, but then we've got to close the original one, so we just put another bracket. And now what this is going to do, it's going to say, alright, 25,500 greater than 25,000. No, it's not. So it's going to ignore this true and go to this next false. So this false is another if statement. So now it's looking at this if statement saying, right, is 21,500 greater or equal to 20,000? Well, in this case, yes, it is. So I'm going to return more than or equal to 20k. Otherwise, return less than 20k. So I'm going to get this part because this is true in this if statement. So this is what we're going to return. So if I enter this, we get more than or equal to 20k. So now if I changed, let's say, we can actually keep that. So if I said, all right, let's change that to 19,500. So the first bit's still looking at 21,500, but because that's not greater than 25,000, we're actually going to go straight to this if statement. So I only have to change this actually. So now, because 19,500 is actually less than 20,000, we should get less than 20k returned, which is right. So that is a nested if statement. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense, guys, and thank you guys for watching.